Christopher Lawrence.
Master of Missile Command, expert stalker, and the champion jester, it's Scott Krinsky.
The stir that stirs the drink, and he's one hell of a dancer, Vixen Hay.
When he isn't rescuing African dictators, he's doing inverted pull-ups. It's Captain Awesome Ryan McFarlane.
Out of Africa comes Chuck's beloved sister Ellie, Sarah Lancaster.
He's gun-toting new dad John Casey. Some of you better make it this shit.
She got a first name this year and finally learned to love a nerd as Sarah Walker of Von Strahovski.
So, Baby Hana didn't exactly work out, but everything else worked out this year for Mr. Morgan Guillermo Grimes. It's Josh Gomez.
He's the reason we're all here. He is the master of Chuck Fu as Chuck Bartowski, Zachary Levi.
Finally, two men so spoiler adverse they still haven't told us what's happening at this panel, and so joined at the hip they share one intercept between them. It's Mr. Chris Vidak and Mr. Josh Schwartz. So several people have asked us in the past few days how this co-moderation thing is going, and we have a secret weapon.
This is my daughter's stuffed puppy. His name is John Casey, and whoever holds it gets to ask a question.
We think the system will work. So, the first question is really for the cast. Last year, there was a lot of drama. I remember Subway sandwiches, I remember rending of garments, and y'all came back. Now, this year, it felt like there was a little bit less drama, but what did it actually feel like to you guys to get that fourth season pickup and to be back here again?
Starting with
whoever wants to
how about we start with you, Brian?
Well, I don't want to throw out awesome, but, you know, when time calls for it, it was more than awesome.
Did any of you guys have any doubts?
Yeah, there's always honest cynicism that comes along with this game, but we had a lot of people who were really rooting for us at the network and the studio, and the fans have been a really huge piece. Picking up the outfit, that's the key. You know, you really put us over the top, so thank you very much.
So Josh and Chris, we have a few questions for you about it.
No, Adam just hearted some people.
Did you say hard?
Alright, so when we left at the end of last season, people seemed pretty happy with the status quo of Team Bartowski. Morgan had joined the group. Everything was working nicely. Now Chuck has quit the CIA. How is this going to work?
That's a very open-ended question. How is the show going to work, or how is Team Bartowski going to work?
A little bit of both.
Well, I think what's really fueling this season, as we saw, is everybody excited about who's playing Mom, by the way? That's really going to be a huge part of the season, the search for Mom, and that's obviously a story that lands in Chuck's spy world and in his personal world, and how he's going to navigate that is really going to drive so much of season 4. But I can tell you this: are you pouring water into the microphone? No, sorry. Are you trying to make the entire ballroom pee? What's going on? I think I can tell you this: Chuck and Morgan are going to be a pretty bad but good but bad spy team.
And I think the other part of it too, just going off the Team Bartowski, is that just Josh and I and the writers, as well as the cast, we really like Operation Bartowski, so we're not super excited about splitting them up. It's like we want to see them back together and doing really cool things.
So you mentioned Linda Hamilton. How did she come to enter your sphere?
You know, we've learned to take our cues from the people gathered here today, and that was somebody that we saw there was a lot of excitement for. She obviously is someone that lives in the universe of the show. We always try to cast these parts of like, if Chuck and Morgan were real people, not that we're saying they're not, who would they be excited about playing these parts? And I think, you know, Linda Hamilton has been such, you know, she's such an icon in terms of that action female, badass mom. And I think that really speaks to what we're looking for. And the fans had put that out there, and she actually had heard about it that way as well, and said, I heard I'm Chuck's mom. Is that true? You don't want to say no to Linda Hamilton. So.
Well, from backstage, it sounded like people were happy. Are we happy with Linda Hamilton? So guys, any hints on when we might be first seeing her?
You'll see a glimpse of Mom in episode 1.
And what other guest stars can you talk about, either new people or people who are coming back?
People are coming back. Oh, you mean like Nicole Richie?
Yeah.
Olivia Munn, we're very excited about. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dolph Lundgren, Isaiah Mustafa, the Old Spice guy.
So who's Isaiah Mustafa playing?
Well, we're going to have this thing, it kind of gets into a larger question of, you know, the Buy More and what happens. But let's just say the Buy More has now been taken over by the CIA. Let's just say that happened.
Owned and operated.
Owned and operated by the CIA. So now they have the most incredible Buy More employees you've ever seen. And every week, you know, in the first episode, we will meet Olivia Munn's character named Greta, who is this amazing CIA operative / Buy More executive, green shirt. And then every week we will have a new Greta. And whether it's a woman or a man, the character's name will be Greta. We're not that good at coming up with names. And so Olivia Munn is the kick-ass operative green shirt in the first episode. Isaiah Mustafa is the kick-ass green shirt in the second episode. And that's really as far as we've gotten.
So, what is the state of what's inside Chuck's brain right now? What's happening with Chuck Fu? How much control does he have at this moment over his powers?
I think he's in pretty good control of Chuck Fu. I think. I mean, he can get a little rusty from time to time, but you know, I think that you know, he's getting better and better. You know, that's kind of the heart of the show, is this kind of burgeoning hero that is Chuck Bartowski.
And what is the role that the governor plays, and what is the role that the proto-intersect that we saw in the finale plays?
These are such feedback questions.
They're not excited.
I think the people want to know.
The governor still is still a part of the show. You know, we want to do kind of big, exciting stories, but you know, the notion is that when Dad kind of introduced Chuck to his spy lair, his bat cave, that you know there was technology down there that would allow Chuck to build his own governors and more governors. But right now, it's like, you know, going into season 4, it's really about the search for Mom. It's really about, you know, looking for her and what that means to Chuck in his life, with, you know, his relationship with Sarah and his relationship, you know, with the Buy More. So it's a big part of this season.
So I got a sense that the crowd was excited to see Chuck and Sarah kissing a little bit, right? So for Zach and Yvonne, how has your working relationship changed, if any, since Chuck and Sarah's relationship has changed?
If I've learned anything from season 3, it's not to get in the middle of you two. I don't know. I don't think I think it's always been the same. I mean, even though we're together now, where we can be honest about being together, and we're a couple officially, I suppose. You know, the love's always been there. I mean, you know, that first night when I saw you, or day rather, because I was at the store. But the first time we went out on a date, we were at the Mexican restaurant. I was gazing in your eyes, and I was such a nerd. And you taking dispatching all those gentlemen with your crafting knife skills. I mean, it was and here we are now. I don't know if it's changed that much, has it?